Hello and welcome to our presentation. Today we're going to be talking about temporary structures in construction.
My name is Paul Slack. I'm a civil engineer major with a focus on transportation and expected to graduate in 2020.
My name is Scott Lenz. I am a civil engineering major with an emphasis in structural engineering and expected to graduate in May 2020 as well.
My name is Sofia Planos. I'm also majoring in civil engineering with a focus in transportation engineering, and I'm expected to graduate in December of 2019. Throughout our presentation, we will be discussing things like what are temporary structures in construction, why temporary structures are important, the state of temporary construction, trends, issues, and challenges, maintaining job safety site, disaster relief examples, and case studies. So what are temporary structures in construction? Well, temporary structures are erected to aid the construction of permanent projects. Temporary structures are used to facilitate the construction of buildings, bridges, tunnels, and other things above and below ground facilities by providing access, support, and protection for the facility under construction, as well as assuring the safety of workers and the public. Temporary structures are either dismantled and removed when the permanent works become self-supported or completed, or they are incorporated into the finished work. Temporary structures are also used in inspection, repair, and maintenance work. Some examples include temporary sheds, disaster relief, portable housing, scaffolding, and temporary structural supports, which we will be talking about in the next slide.
So why are temporary structures important? The most common examples of temporary structures in construction are shoring and scaffolding. Shoring is used to help support concrete that has been poured at a job site but hasn't reached its full strength yet. In construction projects, schedules do not usually allow for concrete on one story to fully cure before the next story is built. Therefore, an additional temporary support system is needed to support these loads without causing excessive stress or deflection in the concrete. In addition, the loads a structure must endure during construction are often higher than its design capacity due to the heavy equipment used in the building process. So additional supports are needed to carry these forces as well. Shoring is an economical and effective solution to solving this problem. Another type of temporary structure is scaffolding, which is used by workers to gain easy access to different parts of the structure during construction. It usually refers to raised platforms and walkways that laborers stand on while working and moving materials around a site. Common types of scaffolding are single pole, double pole, and tower scaffolds. Underpinning is another type, which is used to support building foundations and can provide additional depth or increased bearing capacity for the foundation. It's commonly implemented due to settlement of an existing structure or the construction of a building with a deeper foundation that is adjacent to an already existing building. Temporary shelters are also used on job sites to store materials. Although temporary structures in construction have been used for thousands of years, the state of temporary construction has changed over time. One of the first examples is scaffolding was seen in Roman construction. The Colosseum in Rome, pictured here, still has scaffolding marks on it, showing that it was a key factor in the construction of one of the 7 wonders of the world. Currently, a common example of temporary structures is industrial buildings and warehouses for storing materials. These structures are easy to construct as they have no foundation, so they can be disassembled when not needed. A potential future advancement in this field is the use of inflatable structures pictured here. These would only require an air pump to be built and can easily be taken down and moved to wherever they are needed.
So trends, issues, and challenges. Temporary structures in constructions come with benefits, but they also come with issues and challenges. One of the main challenges with temporary structures in construction is the weather. Delays due to severe weather take a toll on productivity and temporary structures. With worker shortages affecting the entire industry, getting the most from work crew and keeping them safe and healthy should be a major factor in any project planning. In addition, summer heat can be difficult to avoid on a busy construction project, but it is an extreme danger to the workers and the structures that can have an impact on the construction plan. Heat exposures endanger the health and well-being of workers and increase the likelihood of work stoppage due to the heat and lost work time due to the heat-related illnesses. Deconstruction should be done safely. However, There are some structures that can be dangerous when deconstructing, especially if the deconstruction is done during severe weather conditions such as cold weather or thunderstorm rain weather. The utilities and the costs for the challenges and issues in temporary constructors come hand in hand, as the more utilities there are on site, the more expensive the project will be. Some utilities include air conditioning, electricity, water, temporary lighting, and plumbing. All are necessary for workers to get things done efficiently. However, there are only so many you can put on with temporary structures in a project's site plan. There are some temporary structures, like tension fabric structures, that give builders the chance to extend the construction season through the winter. These kinds of structures are more expensive to have on site.
Maintaining job site safety. Temporary structures on job sites must comply with OSHA standards. For example, they must meet fire prevention standards. Firefighting equipment such as fire extinguishers should also be present and well maintained while on job sites. Smoking should also be refrained from on temporary and within temporary structures. Temporary structures must be designed to be able to bear different types and intensities of loading. For example, in locations prone to strong winds, the structure should be designed to compensate for heavy-duty wind loading. Areas with less wind may only experience light wind loading and thus don't need to be designed as well. Earthquakes act in very much the same way. A typical safety factor of 4 is used for temporary structures. This means the structure should be able to support 4 times the expected amount of loading that is expected to encounter.
Temporary structures are very useful in disaster relief efforts to help with cleanup and can provide affected communities with basic amenities. Temporary structures can be constructed quickly to provide housing for families after natural disasters, like the Haitian earthquake in 2010. The earthquake destroyed thousands of homes on the island, so 600 transitional housing shelters were quickly built. These structures can also be used as medical facilities. In Williamsburg, South Carolina, their hospital was destroyed by a flood, and a new structure was quickly built to provide essential medical care, while a new permanent hospital was constructed at the site as well. After Hurricane Katrina, several 11,200 square foot structures were built to help the Salvation Army distribute aid to affected communities, as seen in the lower right here. Another example of temporary structures used in disaster recovery work was the use of a temporary worker center in New York City that was built at Ground Zero and used by recovery workers. In American Samoa, there was a tsunami in 2009 that destroyed a few of their schools, so 12 temporary structures were built to allow students to still go to school, seen in the upper right here.
Case studies on temporary structures. Bamboo is a very strong material in compression. It also grows quickly and is cheap along with being biodegradable, meaning that it can break down. The 2016 MP Pavilion, which can be seen on the left or on the right, is an example of a temporary bamboo structure. A structure such as this could be constructed to give workers a location to escape the elements, along with being able to keep components dry for the construction site. Bamboo can also be used for fencing and makes a good material for fencing due to its cheapness and also strength. Temporary structures can also be are often used for the construction of wind farms. Large projects such as wind farms oftentimes are located in remote locations, but the need for dry workspace is still present. Mahaffey fabric structures provide an optimal location for work to be conducted on wind turbines without the need for being permanent. Warehouses are also a common temporary structure. A common need on construction sites is storage for work components. Temporary warehouses fill this need by providing a dry location to keep components. These warehouses are well built and can be used as permanent structures after their construction if so desired. They can even handle wind speeds up to 135 miles per hour. Thank you for watching our presentation on temporary structures in construction.